Okay, so my sister Monica, my sister Tuscany, my brother Wesley, my brother Arthur, my sister Frida, and my brother Santos. They're all older than me. Hello and welcome back, at long last, to Pokemon Heart Gold, in-game trades only. I had tornadoes and it knocked out our internet, and it was bad for several days. It's still not great, but it's better. I did a couple things off screen. I talked to Santos here, and he gave us the magnet, which boosts the power of electric type moves. That would be nice on, say, Electrode. I also went to the department store on Sunday. I also talked to Sunny on Sunday. I went to the department store and showed her Pokemon that likes me and got the return TM. It's a normal type move. Any Pokemon that learns TMs can learn it. You see the power is dashes. It's based on how much the Pokemon likes you. A max friendship Pokemon, it becomes a 102 base power move. It's normal type, so a Pokemon like Dodrio would get same type attack bonus on it, which is 1.5 times power, so it's like 150 base power at that point. I mean, I got Dodrio recently as an in-game trade, so it doesn't love me all the way yet, but it's better. I did not play Voltorb Flip, I just was not up to it. So, we have very little left I can do besides fighting the League. I suppose there are a couple trainers in the burned tower. They're not particularly high level, but I suppose I can at least battle them with a little bit of experience. Plus the items in there that I never bothered to pick up. It is true that just battling the Elite Four over and over again is likely to be the best experience you're going to get, but you have to at least be able to beat the first trainer. And I was unable to beat Will last time, so even though I outlevel him. So I'm not looking for a Magmar or anything else in here, so I will be abusing Super Repels. Can't get around that way, but we can see that it's very clearly an item. So there's a fire breather in here, but he insists that he knows how dangerous fire is. It doesn't really matter what move I use, the Pokemon here are just going to faint in one hit regardless. So Doris is just gonna sweep through this location and probably still not gonna level up. Hello Oxy, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here. So since this is such an old location, the items here will not be terribly exciting. I forgot that I need to be up here to get this one. Though ethers are good no matter when you get them. Have you played any Pokemon before? Charmeleon's involved Pokemons, but still just too low level to give me a lot. So there's a visible item ball here, need to be up, and there is one hidden up one step to the right. Free Ultra Ball. If you know where the hidden items are, you never have to buy balls. Unless you want to catch a lot of things, but for most of the challenges, you catch what you need, and ignore everything else. So, hopefully I'll only need the one more repel here. Keep our 1000 going. There's an item on this rock. Another antidote. And there's at least one more hidden item down here. But we do need strength and rock smash to get everything. So we'll grab first another taunt TM. That's one that in Generation 4 TMs were still single use, but you can find multiple copies of taunt throughout the game. I think it's also one of the ones you can buy. So if you want lots of Pokemon with taunt, or you want moveset flexibility and are going to be removing taunt periodically, it's there for you. So they have rocks on one side so you can't get through them, but you can, once you're done, you can break the rocks and move those boulders. And even if I get stuck on walls, I did not need another repel. So let me look at my map here. I'm trying to think if there are any trainers. I went through Union Cave again. There's the police officers north and south of Goldenrod, but they only battle you at night, and it's 2:26 p.m. right now, so they will not battle me. I could check the Lake of Rage. There might be a couple trainers there. Also, the trainers that are there are different depending on whether it's raining or not. Friday is a rain day. Wednesday is not. Because Wesley hangs out on the lower part of the lake, which is flooded during rain days. Well, he intimidated me, so I thought Tri Attack might be the play, but Gyarados is stronger than all those other Pokemon I are fighting. Even after Intimidate, Fly is going to do way more damage than Tri Attack. Just my attack is that much higher. I'm not sure offhand which of Gyarados' defensive stats are higher, but Gyarados has pretty good stats all around, so I don't think it makes too much of a difference. Magikarp, on the other hand, is just bad. I imagine a pursuit for each one will be adequate. Yes, even at level 22, these Magikarp are giving less than 200 experience, because that's just the way Magikarp is. But at least Dodrio reached level 45. That might give it a better damage range against some of the Elite Four Pokemon. Billy is closer to a level up. I'll send it out. The most dangerous thing Magikarp can do is tackle me. Kind of sad, honestly. And then I believe the last trainer has like a Ninetales, which is, cool, but and it is the evolved Pokemon of decent level, so it will give me more experience. Yeah, okay, it's just telling me about the mass Gyarados outbreak that now that the rockets are gone, should not be an issue anymore. Mareep and Ninetales. Swift does not make contact, so I won't be static. I once came to the Lake Ridge right away rather than, like doing Ekritik and everything west of it. And this Ninetales nearly made me wipe because I was doing a grass type run. But now that I'm, 20 levels higher than it and not using only grass types, not an issue. I've just hit myself in confusion a lot. Did I get the item here? I did not. One of the best items in the game is here. So let's make sure I grab that. Up on that little patch of land over there. See how many Magikarp we have to get through on our way to it. It's such a short patch of water, I didn't want to put the repel, but I'll pay for it. We're all paying for it. Alright, here are the choice specs that greatly boosts your special attack, but as a penalty, you are only allowed to select one move until you uh, switch out. It works like the choice scarf and the choice band, except for special moves. We don't have a choice band, but we have the choice scarf. Our mom sent one to us. There's another TM I can pick up over here. I don't know that I'll use it. Uh, I would be more likely to use it in the later parts of the game. Uh, because once I defeat the Elite Four and go to Kanto, there's someone who can tell you what your hidden power type is. But if you get hidden power prior to that point, you have to uh, teach it blindly to a Pokemon and then battle things, and based on your knowledge of the type chart, you can potentially figure out what your hidden power type is. That's a lot of work, and I don't really want to do that, but I'll get the TM so that if I decide in the future that I want something to know hidden power, I don't have to either come back here or find another or buy a copy of it. There's also the red flute here that cures a Pokemon of infatuation. It's a battle item that you can use an infinite number of times. So the ways you can go here are pretty much the same as they are when it's not raining. Just you don't need cut to navigate anything because where the branches are under the water. There are no hidden items here in the water, so you don't need to keep your dowsing machine out constantly. But because I went all the wrong ways, I wasted a bunch of rappel spaces. It says steps. I'm not technically taking steps when I'm surfing, but that's how the game has always worked. There's secret power, which is a completely different move than hidden power. It its effect is based on the terrain on which you're battling. And I suppose I could get into its different effects. But let me talk to this guy first. Yeah, strayed far. Here I've meditated. Inside me a new power has been awakened. Let me share my power with your Pokemon. Take this, child. So in this generation, hidden power can be any type of move except for normal type, and its power is a variable from 30 to 70. What a type and power is based on the IVs of your Pokemon. So if you know the hidden power type, that's one of the ways you can narrow down the IVs of your Pokemon. In future games, they ended up changing it so it's always base 60 power, which I think was a good change. Uh, just not having a variable power was nice. Initially, it was a move that only Unknown knew. Yeah, so in Generation 1, it was 30 to 70. 2 through 5, it was 30 to 70. And then, since then, it's been base power. Also, in Generation 2 and 3, whether it was special or physical was based on the type it was. Then it became always special. Um, it's it can't be affected by abilities or moves that make other moves normal type, but for something like Electrify, which changes things to electric type moves, it does also change Hidden Power's type. Also, Hidden Power was not in Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield are, and actually 9. It's on Generation 8 or 9, they got rid of it because they ruined the games. So, Secret Power, which is a different move. I will pull up the article on it so I can tell you what it does. Secret Power was fun in Generation 3 for secret bases, but those were gotten rid of, sadly. So it inflicts damage and has a 30% chance of causing a secondary effect determined by the current environment. So, uh, let's see. Tall grass, sand, snow, ice, water, and marsh apply their own environment, although the last can only be found in the Safari Zone, making its effect unused. Fishing results in the environment, uh, unlike in Generation 3. So, uh, so if you're in a building or a link battle or on plain terrain, it can cause paralysis. If you're in ash or sand, it lowers accuracy by 1 stage. If you're in a cave, it can flinch. If you're on rocks, it can cause confusion. Tall grass inflicts poison. Long grass causes sleep. Pond water lowers speed by a stage. Seawater lowers attack by a stage. And underwater, which uh, matters only in games that have dive, lowers defense by 1 stage. That's in Generation 3 at least. For most cases, it's the same in Generation 4. Buildings in urban areas, special battle paralysis, plain terrain, and sand lower accuracy. Cave and rocky causes flinching, grass, sleep, water lower attack, snow and ice causes freezing, marsh which you would never see lowers speed, and some random terrain that is not actually used. If you glitch into an area that doesn't technically have a texture, it can lower evasiveness by 1 stage. But I'm not using glitches, so we will never see that either. Even if I do teach Pokemon Secret Power. But his power is 70, which is not bad. And it's always normal type. So I battled everyone in the lighthouse. I haven't been to the Safari Zone gate. That's a whole mess of trainers I haven't battled yet. Well, this stage just got better. I was wondering how I was going to have a stream of any length of time if I couldn't beat the Elite Four, but this will be some nice training. What I should have done is I should have played Bulbasaur Flip when I couldn't do anything with the internet, but instead I just stayed inside sad because I couldn't do anything. We had tornadoes last weekend, which knocked out power for like 50% of the county. And for those who didn't lose power, they at least lost their internet, which includes me. Uh, and my work is DoorDash deliveries. So, internet was out, so I couldn't stream. And there was debris on like all of the roads, as is common after a tornado. So I couldn't really drive anywhere to work either. So I was basically just sitting around home getting sadder and sadder. I couldn't stream because I didn't have internet. I couldn't make shorts because when I make a short, I first make a clip that is unlisted on my YouTube channel, and then I download that clip and cut it down however I need to so that I can upload it as a short. But since I couldn't download those clips or get onto YouTube to make the clips, I couldn't make shorts either. It was a very sad week. And of course, I tried to stream on uh, earlier in the week, and you may remember that that did not go very well. It was just OBS crashing over and over again. Do I have a paralyzed heal? I have 3 paralyzed heals. And when else am I going to use a paralyzed heal? The answer, by the way, is never. There's a trainer over here and an item. I can actually explore more of this area than I usually do because I usually, come over here fairly early, and then I have to leave because I can't use waterfall. Can't get all the hidden items, but I have waterfall now, so I can explore a little more thoroughly. I'm pretty sure there are some rock climb areas too, and those are just going to continue to taunt us. But this item is easily accessible. A revive. Alright, I'm going to go down first, but those two ace trainers up there are the bane of so many's existence. They are nasty. Alright, so we're going to be surfing again, which means super repels. And to that will surf and waterfall and do whatever else I needed to do. So actually anything over here? No, there's not. I always go to the right first, and then I remember that there's nothing over there. We can go up this waterfall. And that takes us to a small little patch of grass here that is otherwise inaccessible. But there's also this ground here, as one would surprise from a small patch of land here. Of course there's a hidden item. You got a pearl, which is just sold. No other effect for the item. You can sell it for some money. And there's another waterfall over here. And if you follow it around, a white flute. And I think that makes Pokemon more likely to appear. I don't usually get the white flute because I forget to come over here. Melody makes wild Pokemon more likely to appear. You can use it as many times as you want. So basically it has the same effect as the Pokemon March on the radio. Okay, I could surf back around, but I'm going to fly back to Cianwood real quick so that I don't have to go through the water again. Save me a repel possibly. I had very few steps left, so yeah, I definitely would have had to use another repel if I was going through the water again. The cliff gate there does not have encounters. Is there an item up here? I don't think so. There is, actually. Eh! In the corner. An Ultra Ball. Okay, so stepping out does not immediately trigger this battle, but you can't get onto the gate or the bridge without battling them. 1 plus 1 is 2, but the two of us together is much stronger. Yeah, that tracks. Double team Tom and Kay. Electabuzz and Magmar. Now, I am a significantly high level, so this won't be too terribly uh, damaging for me. Magmar likes to use Protect, so even if uh, Rocky had managed to actually attack this turn, it would not have mattered. It tried to use Protect again, but a super effective Rock Tomb is enough to handle Magmar. Let's see if Dodrio is actually able to attack. No. I'm slightly concerned about static, but I'll headbutt anyway. Actually, can Rocky even be static? It is a ground type. So at this point, yes, I can defeat them, but if you come here quickly, they could certainly pose a problem with that team. By the way, there's a cave down there, accessible by rock climb. It's where you fight a legendary Pokemon, but much later. The lagging tail makes you almost guaranteed to go second. Good for Pokemon that use moves like Payback or Gyro Ball. You saw I skipped over Gyro Ball with Electrode because it does more damage the slower than you are than your opponent, and Electrode is just too fast for it to be useful. So, young couple Duff and Ida, Game Freak knew exactly what they were doing with this team, and you will see exactly what I mean. Duff and Ida. Duff sends out an Onyx, and Ida sends out a Cloyster. Just take a moment, look at Onyx, and look at Cloyster. Yeah. I will use Tri Attack and Rock Throw. Just see if I can take out the Cloyster first. Cloyster is a little bit more dangerous to me because the Aurora Beam is super effective against both of my Pokemon. Obviously, my own Onix is also unaffected by Sandstorm. I'll try Pursuit, uh, and Iron Tail actually. Iron Tail will be plenty. I was no match for you. You're really something. Uh-huh. You should find a wonderful partner too. Hello? Cameron the photographer. There is a little alcove back here with another item. A nugget. And Duff and Ida were the last trainers who battle on this route. You can find a number of Pokemon in the grass here, but random grass encounters are kind of underwhelming when you're just a few steps away from the Safari Zone. Now, there are plenty of videos on the Safari Zone. As it is unrelated to in-game trades, I will not be going through it in this series, but uh, potentially in a series where it does matter, I would go over it. But at the same time, there are also many videos that go in depth on this game's convoluted Safari Zone. But I do not know the Pokemon I need for an in-game trade are only available here, so I don't have to worry about it. I will say, however, that uh, you can become the quote-unquote owner of the Safari Zone. You still have to pay to use it, but uh, if you go in for the first time, he asks you to catch a Geodude, and then at some time in the future, he will ask you to come back and customize the areas so that you can catch a Sandshrew. Then you become the owner, and he allows you to. You can then switch in and out the various areas at your leisure, and then they add blocks which allow you to customize the areas further and find more and more Pokemon, including some that take ages to encounter, mostly dragon types. I have at some point caught all the Safari Zone Pokemon because I've had the same HeartGold save file since the day the game came out in the US, so anything involving time. I've certainly had the years to do it. Suicune comes over here after you find it in Wood City. I just never came back to this area afterwards. But to progress Suicune, you have to cut that bush and get it to move on. How brave it is, how refreshing it is, how beautiful it is, and how quickly it moves. You seem to be around where Suicune would appear. Well, that's okay. My deserted search for Suicune is far beyond yours. Yeah, I'm not particularly interested in Suicune, but you do you, man. We will not see Suicune again until Kanto. So, here we are in Mount Mortar, and there are trainers in here, but I don't think any are gotten to by going through the middle entrance. I believe this is mostly for items. Now there is one trainer deep within the cave that I'm not going to bother fighting because I don't want to go that deep into the cave, and because I'm not interested in the reward for going that deep. But if you want gift Pokemon or fighting type Pokemon, definitely go in there. So I think I did already battle one of the two trainers I have access to right now. What did I just do? I like resized the game window somehow. In a way I certainly did not intend to do. Is the trainer up this way? I don't come into Mount Mortar a whole lot. Usually by the time I get to the Elite Four, I'm ready to defeat them. But this team is even worse than I remember. Though I think last time I did EV train them, that would make a difference. So one of the trainers is just right over here, and that's one I did battle already. This is just another item. I believe I need strength to get to the other one. But I'm not seeing anyone. He's only in Generation 2. No, there he is. He's right there. That's the trainer. Now, how do I get up to him? There's a ledge there and staircases that lead up. So I imagine this loops around. Yes. Hey, you. I'm not you. I came all that way for level 19 Slowpoke. I mistook you for someone else, you don't say. So Cedra is good at using Waterfall. Does that mean that there's another trainer in here that I just completely forgot about? Maybe. I do not have any escape ropes. I used the one I had for something else. I'm just gonna leave. I don't want to go through Waterfall and all that nonsense. Alright, I think... Don't really have much choice but to try the Elite Four, unless you want to watch me do Voltorb Flip for half an hour at least. I'm going to Blackthorn because it's kind of on the way and has a mart. I have a lot of items saved up. The Focus Sash is consumed upon use, but it makes a full health Pokemon survive with 1 HP from a move that would otherwise take it out. I would use it in like Wi-Fi battles or the Battle Frontier where you get your items back afterwards because you're not going to find another Focus Sash. And that is the last item that your mom can send you that you are guaranteed to get at a certain amount of saved money. From this point forward, it will just be the berries. I usually have my mom stop saving money when I have all of the types. And we are at 1, 7, plus 6, 13, 14 of the 17 types. I'm willing to bet we're missing. Oh, we're not. Wow, we got the Cobra berries early this time. Uh, I don't think I saw ground. And steel. I did not see. Which means that there's one other type that is escaping me. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the list and cross them off one by one. In any case, since I don't have all the types yet, I will not have my mom stop saving money. So I will give the Elite Four an attempt, and then when I lose, I will take a break and try and decide what to do next. I don't really use Hyper Potions, but I'll buy a few. When I did it before, I didn't bother to buy any items beforehand, because I knew I wasn't going to, win. But I'll at least buy the healing items. I'm still not going to use any uh, PP restoring items for this attempt because I just don't think I'm going to win. But that's okay. And I will deposit. I cannot deposit Pokemon with the merchant. I will deposit my HM Pokemon because I don't want to have to wait for them to faint. But basically, I'm going to, assuming that I lose to Will, any experience I get against him, I'm going to keep. But I'm still going to save before I walk in. Because that's just habit. We've gotten some experience in the stream today. And a fair bit of experience since the last time I went in. I still think Thunderbolt is better than Charge Beam for uh, trying to get through the league, but I don't think Thunderbolt alone would make me more likely to win. Dodrio's Fly could certainly take out Executor, but the problem is that Executor loves to set up a Reflect while Dodrio is in the air, and that makes everything after that more difficult. Billy is now confused, which is a problem. But the bigger problem is that uh, Billy can't do much to anything besides the uh, Xatu. You can probably take a... It did that little? Oh, goodness, no. It might use Psychic, which would absolutely take Machamp out, but... How much is Machamp going to do here, honestly? Okay. Well, this time I just screwed everything up. I could have won this battle, potentially. And then I just miss every move. I mean, Dodrio can still take out uh, Jinx. Jinx does not have good physical defense. A Fly will take it out. But now I have very little left for the remaining Pokemon. At least Dodrio's getting level up, so I'll still keep it. Assuming it uses Reflect, as it always does, I would need a critical hit to actually take it out. The good news is the experience I got from training is enough to take Executor out in 2 flies, even with Reflect, unless it gets a critical hit and takes me out in 1 shot instead. So sure, I made a couple misplays here, but I was going to lose this no matter what with that kind of luck. I missed moves, I got crit. At least I got a little bit of experience. I don't care about losing some money. Oh, that was the worst attempt. So the thing here is that Charge Beam starts as a 50 power move. And sure, it has a chance to a pretty good chance to raise your special attack, which is a good thing. Raising your special attack is helpful. Your special moves then do more. But you have to ask yourself, is a move that hits 90% of the time with starting with 50 base power, 70% chance to raise your special attack by 1 stage, is it better than the move that starts off, besides, you're guaranteed that without uh, accuracy or evasion modifiers, it's always going to hit, has a 10% chance to paralyze, and starts at 90 base power, because that's how powerful Thunderbolt is, almost twice as powerful as Charge Beam to start off. I would say that's worth it. And at that point, if I like throw the magnet on, it's probably a one hit KO against Susato, which of course I outspeed with my 151 base speed. It's kind of absurd, honestly. I was wondering if it was the highest base stat uh outside of HP, but Machamp's attack is higher, as is Onyx's defense. Despite Onyx having a nature that lowers his physical defense, it's still the second highest stat on my team behind Machamp's attack. Okay. I said I would take a break. I thought I might win one battle. Let's see if there's a good Voltorb Flick calculator out there. Because if I can find one that actually works like 50% of the time, at least, then it won't take now an hour to get 10,000 coins. And well, VoltorbFlip.com claims that it's 100% accurate. Let's let's test online Voltorb Flip calculators. So obviously I don't need it for level 1, right? But let's see what it says. Input the point in Voltorb totals is what it wants me to do. So I put 5, 0, and the next one is 6 and 1. And then we have 4 and 2. 4 and 2. And 6 and 1. And then for the rows, we have 1 and 4, 5 and 0, 7 and 0, and then we have 6 and 2 and 5 and no, 6 and 2 and 6 and 0. So we have plenty of 0 Voltorb rows and columns. So obviously you would do those first. It doesn't tell me a whole lot, honestly. Uh, but we know that this entire top row is this, which it tells me. Alright, we back. It's telling me that this board is not possible, and that's why it wasn't able to solve it. But I solved it. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I input incorrectly. Those both appear to be 6s. I don't think I put anything in wrong, but well, let's ignore level 1 and level 2 because I should be able to solve those consistently without a calculator. That's a 3 there. I didn't even notice that this was a 0 Voltorb row. Not that it really matters. There's a 0 Voltorb row here. I need 2 3s in that row, so pick the columns that could have a 3. And then I'm done there and there. I also need 2 3s in this column. So the first 3 levels of Voltorb Flip are not terribly difficult. So now we're at level 4. And this is where you might want some help. Now, if you're trying to make sure you win each level. So let's close their Steam thing and reset. Reset. The reset button does not work on VoltorbFlip.com. So there are 4 points and 2 Voltorbs in row 1 and row 2 and row 3. Row 4 is an 8 and 1, and row 5 is a 3 and 3. So I've already got a pretty good idea of how I would solve this one, but let's see what VoltorFlip.com says. If the rows are 7 and 1, or if the columns are 7 and 1, 5 and 1. Trying to put in a 1, not an I. What are you doing? Maybe I should just have this open in a separate tab. So this is 0 and 5. So we know that those are all Voltorbs. And therefore could click everything else in the 4th row besides this row. And at least guarantee that we don't go down. Let's see how this solves. It needs to know what this card is to figure out the rest. Oops. So it doesn't just solve it for you. You still have to figure everything else out for it. And you have to click on the tiny little indicator it has there. They're all 2s. There's no real other option. Okay, at the very least, we know a few things, but we're not going to go down a level no matter what I select. But the problem is that if you want to go to the highest levels, you need to win the levels consecutively. The highest level of Voltorb Flip is not just about winning, it's about winning without ever losing. It doesn't matter if you don't go down a level, a loss is a loss. This would probably be easier to just have open in a separate tab next to my game. I'd be able to type faster that way. So that was a 2, that's a 2, that's a 2. Now it wants to know what this card here is. It's a 1. So now it wants me to check this card, and it's a 2. Now it wants me to check the card up here, which is a 1. And Voltorb. So, yeah. Good job, VoltorbFlip.com. That's the first search result, and probably not. Um, that one seems not good. This one was posted 13 years ago on the Pokemon subreddit. There is a patch I can put on that makes you certain to win, but let's try this one. Our site had to close due to lack of funding. Never mind. Let's just do it ourselves. Okay. Uh, I don't like my odds there. Let's try that and this one. Okay, we're good there. I still need a 2 on this. We're good there. Let's try that. Alright. We're good there. Now there are... Okay, there's 2 2s left, and I don't know where they are. But I picked correctly, so I win. So I just cleared level 4 in a tenth of the time it took me looking through different calculators. Alright, we're done with that row. We're done with that row. Yes, it is what I'm expecting. Don't even pull that garbage. Since we know where the Voltorb in that column is, I can safely select the others. So we're done with the third, fourth, and fifth rows. We have all of the points in those. But I still need a 3 or a couple 2s in row 2, and I need a 2 in row 1. Now, I can ignore this first column, but I still need a 2 in column 5, and a 2 in column 2, and a 2 in column 3. Since I know that I need 3 2s from the columns, I know that it's not a 3 in uh, row 2. I know it's 2 2s. At this point, it's luck. I just have to guess. And I guessed correctly. So, level 5 complete. If you're winning level 5, you're getting, upwards of 500 coins. It's giving me a free row, so I, under no circumstances, will go down a level. We can ignore row 1, because it doesn't have any points at all in it. Okay, I got all the points I need from column 4. And row 2, by the way. I still need a 2 in row 3, a 2 in row 4, and a 2 in row 5. 2 of those are likely to be in this first column, so let's try that. Darn it! Picked wrong. So you can see the other 2 was there. And this time I do not get a freebie row, but I do have that 8 and 1 at the top. So we're going to see if I can get good points from where I need lots of points. I also have a 9 and a 1. So anywhere where I did not have the points yet, get them there. I still need a 2 in column 1 and got it, so I don't have to worry about row 5 anymore. 2 and 1 are the other ones here, so I do still need to make a selection here, and that was a Voltorb. I knew I still needed a 2 in row 3, and thought that the row with 1 Voltorb somewhere in it was a safer one than... Okay, so I have a 10 and 1, which means if I need a 3 or want a 3 in a column, select that. Because there are going to be 3 3s there, and I got my 3s. So I don't need column 1, or column 3, or column 4. But I still need a 3 and a 2. So the 3 can only be this top one, which means that the 2 is here. And we are more than a fifth of the way to our TM. Oh, I don't like this board at all. Yeah, I had to take some risks to figure anything out on that one. And I was incorrect. But I would say getting up to level 7 at all is means you're having a decent Voltorb flip day. That is a very odd seeing the rows with 4 points and 3 Voltorbs is not common for level 2. I was certainly uh, surprised by that. Oh, I still need a 2 in this column. There we go. I could get any of the Pokemon. I played it enough to get the Dratini that I traded for my Dodrio. What in the frick? Falling apart. Okay, that's good. I figured I reasoned I could really use the 3. And so I got it there. I need a couple 2s now, so get one there and the other there. I'm not sure if I can switch the bottom touch screen to the larger screen while I'm live. I need 2s in all of these. Okay, I'm done there. I got the 2 there. I still need points in this column. Now, if you're a fan of Scott's Thoughts, you know that he has a program that just gives him the coins. He still has to click buttons, but he always knows it reads the board and outputs the correct solution, which is honestly what I considered. I considered going to his page to download the necessary resources because he links to all of them. And I may do that for future playthroughs where I may be using the game corner for certain items. But I didn't want to do it this time. I actually didn't even mean to click that one, but the emulator still misaligns my actual mouse cursor with the game cursor. So the game cursor is currently hovering over that top one, but my cursor is just to the top right corner of the middle row. So I have to ignore my cursor and focus on the game cursor at all times. And it often makes me click in the wrong spot. Which makes Voltorb Flip even more difficult if you can't rely on tapping the right spot. So just give us our slot machines back, Game Freak, and everyone will be happy. You can include as many warnings in the game as you want about the dangers of gambling. to satisfy the regulators and let us play the game. Or at least let's just buy the coins. Because that was always an option. You could always buy the coins before trying to gamble them, but most people just bought enough coins to get whatever they wanted. No gambling involved at all. In fact, at one point they made it easier to buy large numbers of coins. They, in Generation 1, you had to buy them 50 coins at a time. Later, you could buy them 500 coins at a time. Because they knew that people preferred to buy them rather than gambling. Your your obligation is done. People don't want to gamble when playing your games. You did good. And I have a short on my channel saying that gambling is bad because I had horrible luck in the Stardew Valley Casino. Back down to game level 1 because I only flipped one non-volt orb. Even if it's 5 and 0 and I know there are no points, I still flip them all. Just to feel like I'm contributing. Okay, so this is not fun to watch. It's not fun to play either, if I'm being completely honest. So I think what I'm going to do is, after I've made a couple more risky clicks, I'm going to go on my break, and I'll get something to drink, but mostly I'm going to play Voltorb Flip during my break. So I'm still playing it, not having fun, but you don't have to watch it. So feel free to take this time to get up, do some stretching, grab something to drink, go to the bathroom, look at something that's not a screen, do whatever you need to do for a break, and I will be back in some, hopefully not too long amount of time. Okay, I'm back. My patience for Voltorb Flip is wearing thin, but I have finally beat level 5 again. Shut up. Really need a way to just get rid of these rather than having to go in and do it manually. Fucking bots. Just go away. Get distracted and drop back down to level 3. I've never bought viewers. I never will buy viewers. So just leave me be. Looks like all of these 6 and 1s are 2s in this layout, but I have no way of knowing which is which. Thankfully, it wasn't a Voltorb. If I had guessed wrong in the other column, it would have been. Yeah, you can watch as many how-to videos or tips and tricks, or look at as many calculators as you want. But at the end of the day, Voltorb Flip involves a certain amount of chance. There will be a point, especially in higher levels, where you can use every bit of knowledge you've gotten from flipping over every other card in that row, and you find that you just don't know what to click next. In this case, I know that there has to be a 3 in this top row, and the only column that can still support a 3 is the 5th. And since I already had a 4 there, or a 1 there, I know that the remaining 4 are volt orbs. And since there are 2 volt orbs in this row, I know that, or in that column, I know that one has to be 1 as well. But I already have the 2 in that row, so it doesn't matter. I also know that these 3 are also volt orbs. So in a row that has, in a column that has 2 volt orbs, like this one, I can flip the other 2. It doesn't, they're both 1s, but I can flip them safely. We know that I don't need points in the 3rd column, but I still need a 2 in the 4th. The place that still has a 2 is the bottom row. When I'm playing Voltorb Flip on my actual DS or 3DS, laying in bed, it's a lot better because, I'm in bed. But also, I can, it just feels like it goes better. I still need a 2, and there's really no way of telling between these 2 columns which it is, or those 2 rows. I still need a 2 in, no, I need a 3 in this row. So, one of them is a 3 and 1, the other is 2 2s, based on what I have left. That's a 2. So at this point, I have to guess. This one needs a 3. This one needs a 2. 2 2s, in fact. I was wrong. Which means that this is a 3, that's a 2, and that's a 2. Alright, I got the 2 in the top row, which is very helpful, but I still need a 2 among 3 Voltorbs on the second row. I still need a 2 somewhere on the third row. I need a total of 3 on... Let's just go for it. Alright, cool. Column 1 is done. I still need a 2, and there can only be a 2 there. I need a 2 somewhere on here, and it has to be there. Sometimes even level 5 only gives you 300 coins. But then when you get to levels higher than that, you could get, 1,000 coins in a single level. And that's always exciting. I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind. I know I need a 3 somewhere in there. Pick one that can be. If it works out, then you're very happy because you're going to win and get a lot of points. If it doesn't, oh well. That's basically what was expected anyway. And sometimes it doesn't matter what level you're on. You'll pick something where it just should not be a Voltorb, and it will be anyway. Have a column and 2 rows that have 0 Voltorbs, but that 4 and 3 is probably still going to result in a blow up. Except that I had an 8 column, which saved me. Now I should have uh, looked for a 3 for that one. That's what I had, could not be a 3. And back to level 1. I will do one more set of Voltorb Flip, trying to win up through the levels, but if I go back to level 1 again, that seems about as conclusive as it gets. Getting a Voltorb on your first flip on level 1, that you're done. I will show. Well, I don't know how it's going to work. Uh, Playing on the computer. It works great with a stylus, but I have significant doubts as to whether it's even worth trying here. But there is another mode that I have not explored at all, and that is Pokeathlon. Let me get off my bike because something happens right here and I don't want to be on my bike for it. Waha! I feel it. Twinkle your eyes, twinkle of friendship. Quite something, your Electro described a Pokemon. It's ready to participate in the Pokeathlon. No, I'm not. What do you think? This is a Pokeathlon Dome. Sports Festival, trainers Pokemon. Why don't you try it? I have won every event in the Pokeathlon multiple times. So I know how to win, but trying to do it with a mouse and a small uh, area to click where my cursor and the game cursor are not the same would present a number of uh, henceforth unexplored difficulties. There are a few hidden items here that PP up and the protein. Early game proteins are nice. Let's talk to this woman. Energy drink, welcome to the apple juice stand. You don't know about apple juice? There, take this. You get the apple blender. You can put apricorns in there if you don't want to turn them into Pokeballs. You just walk around and it makes juice, which affects your Pokemon's Pokeathlon steps. But I haven't even gone into the Pokeathlon Dome yet. Which means I can't see my Pokemon's stats yet. But when you walk up to this counter, Whitney shows up. Are you here for the Pokeathlon? Me too. I've been so excited since the instruction. This is close to Goldenrod City, you know? You're going to participate in the Pokeathlon looking like that? So she goes to get us a jersey. Now I'm allowed to participate. But do I want to? Let's look at the Pokemon that I have on my team. Now I can see their stats. So, unsurprisingly, Voltorb has a 5 in speed, 2 in power, skill, and jump, 3 in stamina. The non-filled in stars indicates that through using Apple Juice, you can raise that stat up to as many unfilled stars as there are. Speed, the big stars means it's slightly heightened. the small stars means it's slightly lowered. Rocky has 4 big speed stars. Not a lot in anything else. The Drio also has a 4 in speed and a 4 in power. Surprisingly, it only has a 2 in jump despite being part flying type. And of course, Machamp has plenty of power. Some decent skill too. I think, based on the Pokemon that are in my team, speed is probably my best. So let's try a speed course. There are 3 events in each course. Some that are unique to that course and some that are just, around. So I will throw in. I have to drag them over to the correct spot to add them to the squad. And then you can say yes if you're happy with it. Let's see how I get smashed. Winning with true strength or just winning with luck? It's going to be luck. Victor is good with speed. Chase is good with speed. Susie has speedy Pokemon. We all have fast Pokemon. So event 1 for the speed course is Hurdle Dash. Touch the Pokemon to control 3 Pokemon at the same time. Jump the hurdles. In Hurdle Dash, you race against time to the finish line. Speed affects your running speed. A Pokemon with good jump can also jump longer. So, our 3 Pokemon will run along, and when they're coming up to a hurdle, we need to tap them to make them jump it. If you jump close to the hurdle, you'll get a speed boost that you can see on Electrode right now. Of course, I can't accurately tap them right now. It's meant to be played with a stylus that you can quickly tap at your leisure. Electrode is just so darn fast that it still finished first, but my other Pokemon took a long time. 111.3 seconds is not a good time on Hurdle Dash. But I still came in first in that event. And you get a certain number of points based on how well you did. I'm in the lead by 1 point right now. Event 2 in the speed is Pennant Capture. I'm going to get absolutely demolished here. Slide the stylus over a Pokemon to move it. Hit others from behind to take pennants. Oh, this is just so disgustingly difficult. So, skill is ease of movement, speed is running speed. So a Pokemon with high skill can change directions and the like easier. I just don't know how I do this. Can I click somewhere to tell them to move there? No, I have to slide over them. Which means I have to have the stylus, I have to have the cursor directly over them, and then I have to move them to actually get them. I cannot make him move. So you can carry up to 9 pennants at a time. I don't know where the cursor is. I don't see it. Any pennants you're holding do not get added to your score. So I got 11. I should be getting at least 30. Chase and Susie did. So now I am, 60 points behind. The last one for speed course is Relay Run, which should be the easiest of them all. Quickly flick to dash. Flick as fast as you can to go faster, switch when you're tired. Stamina is your endurance, and speed is your running speed. Now, I do not have to exactly be on the Pokemon. I can do it anywhere. So don't run into the rocks, and don't go over the small rock patches, because that will slow you down. It shouldn't take you very long to figure out what the course looks like. And once you've done that, you can uh, reliably avoid the obstacles and go faster. It is not uncommon for me to get 16 laps or more on this, and I am not yet to uh, 5, and I'm switching Pokemon for the second time because I can't control them properly. And they're bumping me into the rocks. I can't get off of the rock. Move, Dodrio, please! And I can't. I don't freaking believe it. 8.1. I didn't even know it was possible to do that. If you just sit there for half the time, you'll get 8.1. You get whatever the number of laps you got times 10. That is the worst Pokéathlon performance I've done. I have literally done better in my sleep. But it is not. It is made for the touchscreen. That's how they created the Pokéathlon. Now none of my Pokemon are the point leaders. To give out some bonus points to make it harder for your team to win. So I somehow managed to win the first event by 1 point, but I'm still behind everyone else at the end of that event. And then those two cleaned up on the second event, and I end up in last place. I have never had a last place finish either. The only hope I think I would have is if I somehow calibrated it so that my two cursors were the same. But I don't think there's any way for me to actually do that. Because when I move my cursor to a different part of the screen, the uh, cursor on the touch screen ends at the border of that screen. So my mouse keeps moving, but it just stays on the borders, so it's impossible to actually line them up. Hey, Jack wants to battle. That's at least something, worth the time. I got athlete points, but I don't get the bonus for winning the event like you usually would get. I have until 6 o'clock to stream if I choose to do so. So here you can turn in any athlete points you have received. I received 251 because that's how many points I got. But like the evolution items, the stones, and the like cost 2,500 points. All I could get with what I have is a couple of Moo Milks or an apricot. The stock rotates each day. You can also use athlete points to buy freshwater, soda pop, or lemonade, but it's still only one at a time, so. I can't even go on to the second room because you have to come in first in 5 of the courses, and I came in last. It didn't even
put me here because I did so poorly. You can check the data, and you can see that I've entered it once. You have to buy cards to see more data for points. This one will uh, tell you you can buy them from her for 500 or 1,000 points each. That would show me how many victories I've had, which is none. This will tell me how many losses I have, which is all of them. So let's go battle Jack. He's over in the national park and asked to battle me. That'll get at least Onyx level up. You know, while I'm training, I should probably put the shift form on so that if a Pokemon levels up and there are still Pokemon, I can switch to the next one and get it leveled. I do have another game queued up and ready to stream if I get stomped by Will again. I'd probably play the other game. Because I don't necessarily want to stop soon, but I don't just want to sit here playing Voltorb Flip the entire day or trying to bash my head against Will, hoping that maybe next time I'll do a little bit better. That's not the kind of content I want to provide. Onyx learned some things, but oops, I did not mean to use Flash. I accidentally pushed right instead of down, but it made Voltorb's Sonic Boom miss. So it's already not a perfectly accurate move, so throwing a Flash on top of that. Alright, Onyx at least leveled up, so I'm going to turn back off uh, Shift because I decided to make the game more challenging. And I'm going to head back to the Indigo Plateau. I've gotten a little bit of experience, but not much. But it is also a fact that the previous battle could have gone a lot better. I could have not missed my. I could have not missed my uh, rock moves. I could have not gotten crit by Executor's psychic. I could have been more cautious about switching my Pokemon. I had quite a few things go wrong. So I don't care about my money. So instead of having that, let's power up my Charge Beam. Give it 20% more on that first hit, especially. Silk Scarf is fine, the Shell Belt is fine, the Black Belt is fine. I could get the Black Glasses to make dark moves more powerful. Maybe I'll pick that up. I'll actually give the Muscle Band instead of the Shell Bell. The Muscle Band makes all physical moves do a little bit more damage. Not as much boost as a choice item or a specific type item, but unlike a choice item, it does not restrict your choices and it boosts all the physical moves instead of just. So it will not boost Tri Attack because Tri Attack is special, but it will boost my Fly and my Pursuit. I'm actually a big fan of the Muscle Band. I don't hear it mentioned all that much. I really like it. So even with the 20% boost from the magnet, I don't think this will be a one-shot. But it does put it in healing range, so if I break through the confusion having gotten the special attack boost, the next one would take it out. Assuming it hits, of course. And it does. And I got another special attack boost, which means anything coming out except for Executor is something that Billy could take out with a charge beam. Probably. We saw that charge beam did not do nearly as much as I hoped against Jinx last time, but I only had one special attack boost then. I can take 2 psychics assuming no crit or a special defense drop. Please wake up. Billy, you suck. Alright, I will send out Doris next. And I outspeed and should be able to take it out with a pursuit. And now instead of healing a small, almost imperceptible amount of health, I am now doing more damage, which means that I can definitely take this out in 2 hits from Fly if they both hit. Because he does not see a KO, he is going for the Hypnosis. Please, just wake up, people. Hypnosis has a 60% chance to miss, and then you just sleep. Please help me here. So I will go for Payback. I do not know Brick Break. If I did, I would probably use that to break the Reflect. But I did not. Payback did not do as much as I was hoping. The Reflect is gone now, which is helpful, but we have not lost yet. But he is sending out Exatia, which is a problem. Onyx might be able to handle Xatu, but there's no way it can possibly handle Slowbro. And Xatu is actually faster than Onyx. It won't be after a Rock Tomb speed drop, but for the moment it's faster. And I snapped out of the confusion right away. Xatu gets its Citrus Berry health back. If it does not take me out in one hit, and I hit, I can take it out. But the Rock Tomb missed. I was low enough. To add insult to injury, he got the Omni boost from Ominous Wind, and I lose again. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see if I can do better if I try the shift option. Just to see. Because it's pretty clear that Electrode is not very helpful for Jinx. Its special defense is just too high. I'm not going to do much. So being able to freely switch out after Electrode takes out the Exatu, despite me wanting to hold on to any special attack boosts I get in the process, is probably the better option. Oh, he's going for U-turn this time. It's like he knew that I changed the rule set and decided to just screw with me. I will throw up a light screen. And you know what? If I'm already breaking all my other rules, just wake it up. Going for Ice Punch because a light screen is up. Honestly, Onyx is the least useful of all of them. So if I have to take a switch, that's the one I want it to be. You're going to put me to sleep every single time that I'm awake, and hypnosis is going to hit every single turn. Because despite the opponent having a 20% accuracy debuff on any status moves, they will still uh, manage to hit you every single time. I did half damage with my Rock Tomb, so Pursuit should be enough. Because Dodrio has so much more attack. Billy grew a level, so this is already worth it. Xatu is coming back. I am taking a risk sending Billy back in. It can miss the charge beam, but I figured he was going to full restore, and I know that 2 charge beams is good enough. If Will wants to be friendly, he will not send out Executor next. But he's not a friendly man. We have the Reflect, unsurprisingly. He did decide to go for Psychic instead of putting me to sleep, because the game knew that he was going to get a critical hit. The Executor can't do anything, Electrode cannot do anything to Executor. Executor has massive special attack, but Machamp can barely survive 1 Psychic. Xatu's going to come out, and I'm going to go ahead and switch, just because there's not really much sense to keeping Muzzle in. We'll see what this Xatu decides to do. It doesn't matter because I missed the Charge Beam. This is why I freaking want Thunderbolt, but Voltorb Flip sucks. I got a special attack boost. He got a Citrus Berry. The other cycle will take me out. Machamp does not outspeed Xatu, so it will use Psychic, and I will lose again. Oh no, he's going to go for Aerial Ace. That doesn't miss. I'm going to get the black glasses, and then I'm going to not play Pokemon anymore today. I will pick... I think I'll play Voltorb Flip on Monday. That's the day I can get the Sharp Beak. But I will get the black glasses now, so... Victory Road is not the place to go to get the black glasses. I want to fly to Blackthorn City. This will not help me in any way. I don't lament the loss of the Awakenings. I have full heals. So to get the black glasses, unsurprisingly, you have to go into Dark Cave. I don't know if this is the proper entrance to go into, but... Because there are several entrances to Dark Cave, and once you have HMs, you can navigate all of them, but... they also make sure that there's some ledges to drop down so that you can't, skip to Blackthorn City without going through the rest of the game. But we are looking for a guy. There is one character hanging out inside of Dark Cave, and he is the one who gives me the black glasses that will allow me to do more damage with dark type moves. I don't have my HM users with me. I deposited them so that when I lost, I wouldn't have to come back and get them. I already reached a bunch of rappel steps anyway, so I'll just walk back. Withdraw Totodile so I can surf there, and withdraw Sand Shrews so that when I come across rocks I can get past them too. I really do love this game. I just typically don't struggle with the Elite Four. Typically I go in there, I stomp them, and then I move on with the rest of the post game. But technically it's not post game, it's just a continuation, but since the credits do roll before that, it is not wrong to call it a post game. In my opinion, anything that happens after a credit roll counts as post game. The one game that tests that opinion most, though, is Animal Crossing, because, the credits roll every time KK Slider plays a song. And that's consistent throughout the series. Alright, we see the guy, but there are some things in my way. There's a hidden item on this rock, a max revive. And he's wearing glasses. Whoa, he startled me there. I had my black glasses on, so I didn't notice you at all. What am I doing here? Hey, don't you worry about it. I'll give you a pair of black glasses, so forget you saw me, okay? Black glasses have the power of dark type moves. So, that could be used for Dodrio's Pursuit, or Machamp's Payback, or any other dark moves I may learn in the future. If I happen to get a Pokemon that learns dark type moves. I wish I could get a Gengar and teach it Dark Pulse, but yeah. I could continue looking around here, but I don't really want to, so I'm going to take the first exit I see. So, your first time you come here, you can't go anywhere further past that until you can use Rock Smash, but even if you can smash these rocks, there's then a strength boulder or surfing you would have to go across to get to the next section. So you can't go any further than that on your first trip. You can, however, get that potion on your first trip. And when we come out, we're back just before Violet City. Because I have Surf, why don't I come over here and get the item that I've left for it? Why don't I hop on Totodile and show you that there is, and that never has been, something in that water. Which I, of course, remembered. I only went on there as a courtesy to the viewers to show that there is nothing up there. I surely wouldn't make a mistake like that. There is nothing to the right here either. Since I showed you, you can trust that. But there is an item up here. Another PP up. A lot of our best moves don't have a lot of PP, so you want to make sure you get those when you can. Okay, so I'm going to fly to Goldenrod City and park myself inside the game corner to prepare myself for the grinding of the remaining coins I'm going to need for Thunderbolt, so that at the start of the next Pokemon stream, which barring any complications will be next Wednesday, I will be able to start off with purchasing Thunderbolt. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save and close Pokemon, and I'm going to stop the stream for just a moment so I can bring up a different game. So I will be right back.